What's going on, everybody? This is the Great Lakes sketch artist, better known as RGB, and in this video we are celebrating the fact that I reached 4,000 subscribers, and as promised I am doing an RGB sucks while playing Cuphead Q&A. Now, if my setup looks very amateur, you can literally just see my drapes in the background. I apologize for this. I bought a capture card to make this as truly professional as possible, but I, for the life of me, could not get it to work. So I apologize for the amateur visuals, but let's just be honest. You guys are probably here for the questions, not really concerned about the gameplay. But I do have it on in the background, so consider this a glorified iPad kid video. So I'm going to start answering your questions, and let's dive right in. These are taken from a wide variety of shorts, so they range from a few days to a few months old. Alright, our first question comes from the user 4236, and they ask Q&A. Do you play other games besides Cuphead? I'm going to be honest with you guys, I don't really play a lot of video games. I play mostly Minecraft and Castle Crashers, and I haven't touched those since like 2023. I'll put it this way. When I booted up my console for this video, it had to update for like 20 minutes before I could actually do anything on it. And I don't have an internet connection or Xbox Live anymore. This question comes from user Jedi Raja OC. I apologize, I'm pronouncing that way wrong. And they say, what brand do you use and what's your favorite type of book? I'm assuming this is referring to my drawing book, so let me show you real quick. Reading directly from the cover, these are 60-page medium weight paper sketch pads that are made by the Crown Jewels Company. They are in fact women owned, if you were worried about that. I got these at the dollar store, and I literally buy them a dime a dozen. I have so many books in my house that the local dollar store near my house recognizes me because I've told them what I do. So shout out to the dollar store near my house. Aces Up Aiden, awesome nickname by the way, asks, on a scale of 1 to 10, how good are you at Cuphead? By the way, your biggest drawing fan, you did phenomenal. Thank you for the compliment. But to answer your question, Aiden, this video is literally titled RGB Sucks at Cuphead, although I am recording this in post because the microphone quality in my room is god-awful, and I did beat 2 bosses on the first try, but I don't know, I would still consider myself fairly bad at this game. But by staying faithful to your question, I would probably rank my skills a 5.5 out of 10. User Jinx with Fangs asked, what made you so amazing at art? Again, I'm truly flattered by all the compliments you guys give me. I read every single one of them. This is going to sound corny, and I did try to give art advice in previous shorts, but truthfully, it's just a lot of practice. I have been drawing for about 10 years, which is literally half of my life, and a lot of my drawings are awful. The thing about this entire channel is that I pushed myself to better my art every single time, even if I wasn't proud of it. That's why I draw all my JoJo sketches in pen, so I'm not allowed to erase. I have to discipline myself to either live with the mistake or work around it. So I guess it would just be practicing and disciplining myself. Also, by the way, RGB playing Cuphead beats this boss and somehow loses 2 health points on the first boss of the entire game. Okay, moving on. Next question comes from Ashura NZ5XD. I sound like a robot reading these. And they say, what is your favorite JoJo part and your favorite main villain? Okay, so I want to make this truly fun. I'm going to rank all of the villains, and it might not correlate with my part ranking because my part ranking has since changed. So here we go. All right, JoJo fans, here we go. Here is my definitive part ranking. Part 1, I'm sorry, has to be in last place because I really do like that story a lot, but there's not enough of it, and I needed more for me to be truly hooked on that story. But it's fantastic for what it has to do. Part 5, I ruffled a lot of feathers when I first said I thought Part 5 was the weakest. I no longer believe this to be the case. I have my issues with Part 5, and I feel like it's good up until a certain point. I feel like once Fugo is removed from the story, it kind of just derails, in my opinion. But there are certain fights that make it well worth it. Like, I do like the Rolling Stone arc at the end, but it will get to that. Part 8 is in third to last because I just think the pacing is absolutely terrible. I feel like the rock humans work as an antagonistic force rather than Toru being the big bad main villain. And also that final fight felt very underwhelming. What were they doing with Kei Nijimura? Okay. I have part 3 in the direct middle. It kind of meanders, and I'm sure every single person who's reviewed part 3 said this, but the villain of the week format does get old kind of quickly. When you have 22 tarot cards, 9 Egyptian gods, and just a song reference and a musical instrument as your stand names, it can take a little bit of a damper on the story. Part 4, I really do like the slice of life atmosphere. I know that's a complaint for a lot of people, but I truly do like it a lot. I like how Kira is literally hiding in plain sight, and I have a feeling that in 20 years when JoJolion eventually does get its anime adaptation, they're going to do the same thing with Toru. Now, this one might shock people, but I have Battle Tendencies in 3rd. I reread and rewatched Battle Tendencies, and I forgot just how much fun it was. I truly do like Battle Tendencies a lot, and that's why I have it in 3rd. Now, for 2nd place, I have Stone Ocean. Now, a lot of people, for some reason, don't like Stone Ocean. Or they skip over this part because of Steel Ball Run, which, spoiler alert, that's my favorite part, but we'll get to that. I think Stone Ocean is fantastic. I think Jolene's a great character. I love how it provides an ending that, while it hurts, it's the best possible ending for our characters. And because you feel so close and connected to all of them, it's truly what you want for everybody. And it's a beautiful ending, and it's poetic justice. Number 7, Steel Ball Run. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I love this part, and I was so excited the day I found out they were adapting it. I can't wait to see Hot Pants in all of her animated glory. I'm sorry, I've kind of made myself known as the guy who likes Hot Pants a little too much on this channel, so there you go. My least favorite villain is Part 1 Dio, because even though it is a really good fight between Jonathan and Dio, it's just really boring, and he's a very boring guy. And everyone remembers him more for Zawardo than they do Part 1 Dio. I think the best villain is Father Pucci. And I will die on that hill. People think, well, RGB, if your favorite part is Part 7, why would you say Father Pucci's your favorite villain? And here's a little bit of a surprise for you guys, and then we're going to veer back to just more general questions. I plan on making a full-fledged review for all 9 parts. I finished the JoJolion one. That was kind of like the test to see how it would do. And I'm currently working on a Part 9 one, and I'm drafting the script for Parts 1 and 2. So be sure to stay tuned for my full thoughts and opinions, but I definitely think Father Pucci's the best. That was a bit of a mouthful. Let's get back to more questions. Mr. SV14 says, how long have you been a fan of Cuphead? Well, let's see. The game came out in 2017, and I think I bought it that year. So I would probably say since 2017, which I recently found out is 8.5 years ago, and I'm just not mentally ready for that. And I just think that's absolutely insane, because it feels like the game has not been out for as long as it has, and I think I have the recency bias due to the DLC still being fairly new. So I would say I've been a fan of the game for as long as it's been around, not really counting like the 2013 beta phase. So I'd say since 2017. Royd FKTBP asks, I have a question, RGB. Where did you get your pen? I really want to start drawing, and I think that pen might be awesome for me to use as an outline. Please let me know. I would be happy to tell you. Your quick and simple answer is that these are Magna Tank gel ink pens with a 0.7 diameter. You can get these from the dollar store. Now, I did not originally buy mine from the dollar store. I stole it from a friend's house, so thank you for inadvertently starting my YouTube career, but I have since gone to less unethical methods of acquiring my pens. I get them in bulk at the dollar store, and you can even get a pack of like 12 or 15 on Amazon for around $14 to $15. It's a long-term investment that I think will go a long way, and they are really great at blending ink and doing thatching, which if you're drawing JoJo characters is an absolute must. You need to know how to do that. And for the Cuphead pens and the sketches I do with that one, I unfortunately cannot tell you where I got this pen, but based on the brand and everything else, it's from Showtune, and it says it's a black fine liner set Mipor pen line. Ooh, fancy. I'm assuming you can just get this at like Hobby Lobby, any craft store in your area, or even on Amazon. Amazon will come in clutch in more ways than one, trust me. Unless you're trying to order a $30 capture card that doesn't work because it's too strong for your Xbox. Other than that, they're pretty good. But yeah, Amazon is where you want to go if you don't feel like going out. And if you're willing to make the adventure or the trek, you can go to your local dollar store. I can almost guarantee it'll have it there. This user wants me to try to find the ideal way to fit 17 squares into a larger square, and I don't know. It seems kind of hard. I'll have to get back to you on that one. The Crimson King himself. I am blessed by his royalty every time he hops in the Great Lakes Sketch Hub. Be sure to join. This wasn't an ad for the Discord server, but I felt the need to call it out. He asked, when is Record of Ragnarok coming? Very, very soon. I have been so busy with doing other things because I'm a busy guy. I'm really not, but I promise. I see the comments for Record of Ragnarok. I see everything else. I see every request, every comment that comes through. I promise, all in good time. It will eventually happen, and I'm sorry for keeping you waiting for so long, but I'm going to get it done soon. That also applies for the JoJo Hunger Games as well. I have it filmed. I just need to edit it and make it look professional for YouTube. But folks, I just want to make this evidently clear. I see the comments, but I am a one-man team. I edit and post my videos from an iPad and an iPhone. I don't have any fancy editing equipment or anything like that, so if it takes extra long, I do apologize. I do believe in Nintendo's philosophy, though, where I'd rather not rush a product and have it be peak than speed through a product and have it be mid. So, I'm paraphrasing, obviously, but what were we talking about again? Oh, yeah, Record of Ragnarok. Soon, I promise. But like I said, one-man team doing everything, so it's a bit slower, but good things will eventually happen, I promise. I got a few questions and call-outs, actually, about how I draw. This one person asked me if I'm drawing without a base, and the answer is yes. I do draw freehand, but I look at a reference picture when I do it. I don't really use like a base for anything. I do with the JoJo sketches just so I can have the facial proportions be accurate. Like eyes are the same size and they're equal with each other. But for Cuphead sketches, I wing it. That's how I do it. And I always have, and I likely won't change that anytime soon. Look how close I was here. I was so close to beating this guy, but then I died because of those stupid UFOs. Okay, we're going to keep answering questions. Okay, this is more so of the quote-unquote call-out I was referring to, and they say, what do you mean he just draws the lines? I don't see a sketch below at all. They're not even the faint lines have been erased on. Hello? This has to be fake. And I thought that was very funny. And then some of my fans came in clutch. Cool Burger Vince, a well-known member of my Discord server, says, simple. He freehands all of his drawings, which I do. I freehand almost everything. I don't trace. I don't really believe in tracing. It's just not something I personally like doing. And number what? Says some people can just eyeball it. They claim to be able to do this as well, although they say they are not good at it, which I'd like to see your art and be the judge of that. I'm sure your art looks just fine. But I didn't want to, poke fun at anybody being rude for this. This is just something I wanted to highlight because it's kind of funny. I've been going this long, and I think this is, the only comment I've gotten that's acknowledged me as trying to accuse me of being a faker. And I do find that kind of humorous, but I can promise you folks, every single drawing you see on this channel is 100% drawn by me. I think literally the only exception is when I was showing off an augmented reality drawing app, which literally requires you to trace, but that was just me showcasing an app. But everything else is 100% drawn by me. Dud Luke asks, Sonic? I mean, yeah, he's alright. I never really played any of the games. I enjoyed the movies. 2 sucked. 3 was peak. 1 was peak. Glad they changed the design. That was years ago, but yeah, he's cool, I guess. I have a question for you. Knuckles? Let me know in the comments below what you think. Jacob T 2011 P6B, again, I sound like a robot reading off a SKU number, asks, can you draw all 500 harvests? For those of you who don't know, Harvest is Shigeshi's stand in JoJo Part 4. Guys, no. No. I drew 1 and just pretend I drew that 500 times. Just actually rewatch that video 500 times and you basically got the same thing. I'll put it this way. It took me about 9 days to draw 100 Pokemon. And I get it. Harvest is a very simple design. That's probably why Rocky was like, oh yeah, let's make 500 of these things. It kind of sucked drawing 100 things, let alone 500. So I refuse to do that again. And I'm sorry, but the answer is probably not, but I'm not saying never. So for now, no, maybe later down the line. Older viewers of my channel will know that I originally planned to do this Q&A when my channel was about half of the size it currently is. So when I hit about 1,900 subscribers, and I actually drafted and started to make a 15-minute long Q&A video. For comparison, this one's about a little over 20 minutes. So what I'm going to do now is avenge the questions that were never given their proper answer or recognition. So I'm going to answer questions from the old Q&A and put them here. And the first question comes from Fun Guy Feewee, and they ask, do you like Mudkip? Yeah, he's pretty cool. I think I said the exact same thing word for word in that one, but my opinion on the little mud skipper has not changed. Demulto asked a really long time ago, do you have any advice for me? If I'm not the best at drawing but still enjoy it and I want to get better at it, consistency is key. I do my sketches about every single day, which I probably pump out about 2 to 3 sketches a day, depending on the detail. But honestly, use every single time you draw as a learning experience. Go out of your comfort zone with drawing. If you're not the best at drawing facial proportions, for example, go out of your way to use guidelines or do something that would scare you with it, where you're like, oh shoot, I don't know if I can do it. Just going out of your comfort zone with it is the best way to do it, and that's how I have to look at it. Trying to jog my memory with this one, but in a few of my older JoJo drawing shorts, I did give legitimate advice, and the first one was, if you consider yourself to be beginner or you're not as advanced as you'd like to be, always start by drawing with a pencil because it allows you to go back and make mistakes, and that's always what I recommend to newer artists. Secondly, like I just said, consistency is key, getting to practice whenever you can, even if it's just on something like a sticky note, or a tiny little handbook that you carry with you everywhere. Something is better than nothing. And thirdly, it's okay to make mistakes. It's all good. If you mess something up, you're not going to get arrested for it or anything serious like that. It's just, oh darn, that's something I need to work on. So there you go. Just, it's okay to make mistakes. Consistency is key. And just have fun with it. If you're not having fun, you're doing something wrong. That's how I look at it. But I do want to throw this out in the end. I am not by any means a professional artist, despite what you guys might think. I am just a guy on the internet who really likes drawing JoJo and Cuphead characters. So take what I say with a grain of salt and make sure to put your own twist on the classic formula. Hopefully that advice helped, at least to some capacity. Like I said, if I can inspire someone to pick up a pen, then I think I did something right. Our next question comes from Red's Deaths, and they ask, but if I'm going to be real with you, my question is, why is your name Great Lakes Sketches? That is an excellent question, and I'm really glad someone finally asked. So, let me get right into that story. Because despite the fact that my channel was made in January of 2025, I've been on YouTube since March of 2015. So my first ever YouTube channel was Vtron7590. Some people might remember that, but if you don't, it's for the better. They're like embarrassing high school photos. I don't really like to bring it up. That name came from the fact that I thought Vtron sounded like the coolest thing ever. A few years after that, in about 2019, I made my animation debut onto the internet under the name Great Lakes Animator. Because I'm a Michigander. I'm from Michigan. That's the easy answer. But if you want the lore, then stick around. So I animated, I had my own object show. It was called E. Some of you might have heard of it. Some of you may have not. Again, embarrassing high school photos. I prefer not to talk about it. But from there, I just kind of got bored of animating. It took a really long time. And that channel wasn't really pulling in a lot of viewers because animation is something I cannot do daily. So it's a venture I had to stop going down. But eventually, I turned to drawing sketches. Something I can put more detail into in, a shorter amount of time. I can get one sketch done in the time it takes to do, half of a full animation, which, it takes a very long time to do that. So fast forward to 2025, and I originally wanted to make a new YouTube channel where I just clean slate and see where it goes. And I was originally going to make this channel something, I don't want to say brain rot, but something where it's just like you mindless scrolling and just call it Drawing JoJo. And I would just take like Josuke from part 4 and make that the thumbnail and just say, okay, I'm drawing every JoJo character. That's something I obviously ended up doing with drawing every JoJo character, but I realized very quickly I would be, limiting myself to a admittedly not very large demographic in the grand scheme of things if I were to only draw every single JoJo's Bizarre Adventure character. Within posting 5 Cuphead videos, my channel went from 3,100 to 4,200 subscribers. So it's clear that there's definitely more demographics I can market myself towards, and I am so glad I decided to keep my channel as generalized as possible. Great Lake Sketches. And also, I really do like having consistency in the name. So, too long, didn't listen. I'm from Michigan, and I like consistency. There you go. We got 3 more Discord questions, and then I think we're going to call it a video because this is already very long. So the next question comes from Gary2, a familiar face around this channel. Always good to see you, Gary. And they said, if you could have a stand, what would its power be? Now, I originally misinterpreted this question as a pre-existing stand from JoJo, and the answer to that is Heaven's Door. It's my favorite, spoiler alert. But this is asking if I had my own stand, and honestly, I thought about it, and I came up with an answer that I think is satisfactory. So I don't really have a picture for it, so take this stock image I found, kind of just like that, where the stinger is like one of those excavation drills, and it has the power to burrow underground, and it has a relentless hunt and kill instinct, just like a real wasp. That's kind of the inspiration for it. I wanted to write my own JoJo story at one point, and that was the main character's stand. And I was like, you know what? If I could take any of my character's abilities, I would take this one. Has the ability to burrow underground, has a hunt and kill instinct, and it has extreme precision, but I don't know, maybe like nerf the developmental potential. I don't know. I didn't really think too hard about the stats. I was like, cool looking wasp would be funny. What I think it would look like is it have like a robotic body, and it would have like yellow paint chips and stuff. It would be like construction equipment almost. It would have a robotic head, and it would have like antennas as like radio antennas and stuff. This part's completely unscripted. I had like a little bullet point for everything I wanted to say prior, but I kind of wanted to go off script for this one. So that's kind of what I'm thinking of, like a robotic wasp with an excavation drill as a stinger and buzzsaws on its hand. Should I do an art contest where you guys try to draw that? I don't know. I mean, I think that would be kind of cool, but at the same time, it's up to you. So if anyone were to draw that for me and post it in the Great Lakes Sketch Hub, you should join, by the way. I may or may not feature in an upcoming video, just saying. Okay, so this one actually comes from a personal friend of mine, and they asked me if there's a piece of media I wanted to get into, but for some reason couldn't. It's One Piece. I'm sorry. I know I literally had a series on this channel where I drew One Piece characters, but just, I can't do it. I dropped it at around Thriller Bark, and I was just like, I can't continue this. I'm so sorry. You can nail me to a board, but just like, I could not get into One Piece. It's the one thing I can't finish. All right, folks, this is our last question of the evening, so let's end it on a banger. And this person, Tweed River, asks, Q&A question. What are those funny numbers on your credit card and the 3 silly numbers on the back? Okay, so I just pulled up my credit card from my wallet right now, and the numbers are... All right, hopefully you caught all that. I know I was kind of running low on my camera's battery, but I think you got all the numbers, so have a shopping spree. Ladies and gentlemen, that was my official 4K Q&A. Oh my god, that rhymed. Dude, that was so catchy. I came up with that on the fly. I'm a genius. But I'm still not done playing Cuphead, so I think I'm going to have to do a part 2. So, ladies and gentlemen, be sure to keep your questions coming because I really like this game, and I want to keep playing it. Come on, just parry the bug. It's not that hard, dude. Come on. I'm commenting on my old self playing this. But it's laughable how bad I am at this. Like, watch. I'm about to die right here. Watch. Ready? Okay, so I kill the bug, right? And I jump. And look, I take damage from another bug. I try to kill the tree stump guy. I jump again. And watch. Ready? Okay, so I kill the guy. And then... And there you go. Try to parry that and you die. Yep, okay. There you go. Yep, I still suck at this game, despite the fact I literally beat some of these bosses like first try. It's Inkwell Isle 1, okay? So, ladies and gentlemen, I am happy to say that this Q&A is now officially over for now. Be sure to keep more of your questions coming, and while you're at it, why not like and subscribe? It helps out the channel, and you get more of me in your feed, so it's a win-win. So, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Take it easy.